Hello, beautiful listeners, and welcome back to Green Earth Essentials, your go to space for holistic wellness, sustainability, and the subtle ways nature nurtures us. I'm your host, Michelle Jackson, and today we're exploring something truly magical. It's a hidden pattern found in sunflowers, seashells, music, and even our very own bodies. It's called the Fibonacci sequence, and it might just be nature's favorite code. You might be wondering, what does a math sequence have to do with wellness and healing? Well, as we'll explore today, this ancient rhythm shows up everywhere in the natural world, and it just might offer powerful insights into how we can align our lives with greater harmony, balance, and beauty. Let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. The Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two before it. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on. It's simple, but this little pattern creates spirals, rhythms, and proportions that show up again and again in nature. This sequence is closely tied to what's called the golden ratio, approximately 1:6:18. When you divide one Fibonacci number by the one before it, you start to approach this ratio. Artists, architects, and even engineers have long used this ratio to create structures that are not only beautiful, but feel naturally right. You can spot it in pine cones, the arrangement of leaves along a stem, the petals of flowers, and the elegant spiral of a nautilus shell. But its presence isn't limited to what we see. It also emerges in how our bodies are structured and in the architecture of music itself. If you've ever examined a sunflower, a pine cone, or the swirl of a seashell, you've likely observed the Fibonacci sequence in action, even if you didn't realize it at the time. This deceptively simple mathematical series, where each number is the sum of the two before it, is more than just numbers. It's a pattern encoded in the very design of nature. Take the sunflower, for instance. Its seeds don't scatter haphazardly across the center. They spiral outward in opposite directions. If you count the number of spirals in each direction, you'll often find Fibonacci numbers like 34 and 55. This spiral arrangement is not only visually striking, it's incredibly efficient. It allows the plant to maximize seed density in a compact space, optimizing its use of surface area. You'll see the same kind of intelligent design in pine cones, pineapples, cauliflower, and even in the branching patterns of trees and the spiral growth of leaves around a stem. This arrangement, known as phyllotaxis, ensures that each leaf receives adequate sunlight without overshadowing others. It's nature's way of promoting balance, growth, and sustainability. Then there's the iconic nautilus shell. While it doesn't follow the Fibonacci sequence exactly, it forms a logarithmic spiral that expands at a rate closely aligned with the golden ratio, approximately 1:618. This ratio is derived by dividing one number in the Fibonacci sequence by the previous one, and the further along this sequence you go, the closer the ratio approaches this divine proportion, long associated with beauty and natural harmony. The golden ratio shows up in everything from art to anatomy. Whether we look up to the stars or down to the daisy at our feet, Fibonacci spirals reveal that nature is far from random. It's intricately organized, filled with patterns that reflect a deeper underlying order. When we start to recognize these spirals, we begin to experience the world not just as a collection of objects, but as a dynamic, interconnected tapestry of rhythm and symmetry. The Fibonacci sequence doesn't stop with flowers and pine cones. It shows up across an astonishing range of scales, from the vastness of galaxies to the intimate curves of the human ear. It's as if the universe itself has a preference for spirals, and Fibonacci provides the blueprint for how those spirals unfold. Take the stars for example. Spiral galaxies like our Milky Way stretch their arms in sweeping curves that resemble the same logarithmic spirals found in sunflowers and seashells. While not perfect Fibonacci spirals, their form closely reflects the golden spiral, shaped by the same underlying ratio. These cosmic spirals are not just visually majestic, they illustrate gravitational forces and the organic movement of matter in space. Now bring your focus back to Earth. Hurricanes form spiraling shapes that mirror this pattern once again. As they gather strength from warm ocean waters and spin under the influence of the Coriolis effect, their swirling clouds take on the familiar spiral curve. It's a vivid reminder that Fibonacci's rhythm isn't limited to serenity. It also shows up in the raw, transformative forces of nature. And finally, come closer to the human body. The cochlea of the inner ear is shaped like a spiral too. But this isn't just an artistic flourish of biology. It serves a vital function. The cochlea's spiral design allows us to process a wide spectrum of sound frequencies with remarkable precision. In a beautifully literal sense, we are hardwired to resonate with the patterns of nature, and even our hearing system echoes the spiral structures found throughout the natural world. From galaxies swirling in the heavens to hurricanes churning across the seas and down into the intricate design of our own biology, the Fibonacci sequence reminds us of our connection to all things. It is a pattern of life, movement, and harmony, a sacred pulse that flows through every layer of existence. The Fibonacci sequence is part of a larger concept known as sacred geometry, the belief that certain patterns, shapes, and ratios are embedded in the fabric of nature, acting as blueprints for life, growth, and harmony. This isn't just symbolic. It's a way ancient and modern minds alike have tried to decode the intelligence of the universe. Cultures around the world revere geometry as more than numbers and shapes. They saw it as a spiritual language. The flower of life, Metatron's cube, and the Sri Yantra are just a few examples of sacred geometric designs used in spiritual practices across continents. These patterns reflect deep mathematical principles, including Fibonacci and the golden ratio, and are believed to mirror the underlying design of everything from galaxies to human cells. What's truly fascinating is that sacred geometry also shows up in energy fields and healing modalities. Practitioners of crystal healing, acupuncture, and even sound therapy often position tools or apply frequencies based on geometric principles, believing that aligning with these patterns can restore balance in the body and mind. Today, artists, architects, and designers continue to use sacred geometry not just for beauty but for function, to create environments that promote well-being, harmony, and coherence. Whether it's a spiral staircase, a rose window, or a meditation mandala, these forms invite us to step into something timeless, a quiet order beneath life's chaos. So, next time you see a sunflower, seashell, or even a snowflake, pause and reflect. You're not just looking at a pretty pattern, you're witnessing a sacred structure that echoes the intelligence of the natural world, and perhaps a glimpse of the divine blueprint behind it all. Now, here's where it gets exciting for us in the wellness world. Fibonacci numbers show up in music, not just as a theoretical curiosity, but as a foundation for deeply resonant sound. Let's break it down. An octave in the Western musical scale contains 8 notes, and if you count both the white and black keys in a full scale, there are 13 total. The 5 black keys are arranged in groups of 2 and 3 across the keyboard. These numbers 5, 8, and 13 are all Fibonacci numbers, hinting at a naturally occurring mathematical structure within the music itself. Composers throughout history have tapped into this sequence, sometimes consciously, sometimes intuitively. Bela Bartok, for instance, was well known for structuring pieces using the golden ratio and Fibonacci numbers, guiding where musical climaxes or changes would fall. Claude Debussy, too, incorporated Fibonacci proportions into his compositions, creating pieces that feel fluid and organic, as if they breathe with the rhythms of nature. Even Mozart is believed to have structured some of his works in alignment with these patterns. In the realm of modern sound healing, practitioners are taking this concept further. They're designing melodies, chord progressions, and rhythm cycles based on Fibonacci intervals, spacing out beats, pulses, or harmonic changes according to this sequence. The belief is that our bodies, already attuned to Fibonacci patterns in nature and biology, recognize this mathematical symmetry in sound as something familiar, soothing, and spiritually grounding. This isn't just about math, it's about resonance. Music based on Fibonacci intervals often feels intuitively right, as if the body sighs in recognition, whether it's through solfeggio frequencies, ambient compositions, or live sound baths. These Fibonacci-based sounds act almost like a tuning fork for the soul, gently guiding us back into alignment with natural harmony. And in a world that often feels dissonant, that kind of resonance can be profoundly healing. Let's take it even deeper. Our bodies themselves reflect the Fibonacci sequence in ways both obvious and subtle. At the surface, you can observe the numerical echoes in our structure. 1 head, 2 arms, 5 fingers on each hand. But it goes further. If you examine the bones in a human hand, the phalanges follow a descending 3-2-1 pattern from the base of the fingers to the fingertips, matching a Fibonacci progression. The same pattern can be observed in the segments of our fingers, toes, and even the spiral growth of hair at the crown of the head. Our bodies don't just look Fibonacci, they move in Fibonacci too. The rhythm of our breath, the beating of our hearts, and the cadence of our walk often settle into ratios and timing that resonate with Fibonacci numbers and the golden ratio. Some movement specialists, like those in Feldenkrais or yoga traditions, even suggest that when our movements follow spiraling, Fibonacci inspired patterns, they feel more natural, fluid, and sustainable because they're aligned with the body's innate geometry. And then there's DNA, our molecular blueprint. The double helix of DNA has been measured and shown to have dimensional relationships closely aligned with the golden ratio. The distance between the spirals, the width and length of each full twist, they all reflect proportions that echo phi. 1, 6, 18, the mathematical fingerprint of the Fibonacci sequence. It's as if nature encoded this divine spiral into the very structure that makes us who we are. So, when we work with frequencies, shapes, or movement patterns based on Fibonacci, we're not imposing something artificial or mystical for the sake of it. We're tuning in to a deeper order, a rhythm already humming quietly within us. It's not just beautiful, it's biologically familiar. Aligning with Fibonacci may be one of the most direct ways to reconnect with the deep intelligence of nature encoded in our cells. You may remember from the episode on sound healing that everything in our body has a vibrational signature. One exciting practice that blends this idea with Fibonacci rhythms is called biofield tuning. This method uses tuning forks to interact with the energy field around the body, also known as the biofield. Practitioners listen for distortions in the vibrational field and gently apply sound to bring the system back into harmony. And many of these practitioners are experimenting with forks calibrated to Fibonacci intervals or solfeggio tones to enhance results. Researcher and sound therapist Eileen McCusick has found that certain harmonics, like those related to 528 Hz or Fibonacci-based patterns, help move people into a deeply relaxed parasympathetic state. That's the healing zone. Want to try it at home? You can bring Fibonacci into your daily practice in simple ways. Try this breath pattern. Inhale for 3, hold for 5, exhale for 8. This mirrors the Fibonacci rhythm and helps calm your nervous system. You can also look for sound meditations or music with Fibonacci timing, or just sit with a sunflower or a seashell and observe its spirals. Let yourself sync with that natural rhythm. Even your yoga flow or walking meditation can reflect Fibonacci steps or pauses. Tuning into these natural patterns can create a sense of coherence between your body and your environment. Some people incorporate Fibonacci timing into movement practices like Qigong or Tai Chi, matching steps or gestures to counts of 1, 2, 3, 5, or 8. Others use mala beads and sets of Fibonacci numbers during mantra repetition to deepen spiritual focus. The point isn't to be rigid or perfect, it's to gently align with the flow of nature's design. Over time, these subtle shifts in rhythm can enhance emotional balance, mental clarity, and even deepen your connection to something greater than yourself. Here's the big takeaway: the universe is not random. Nature hums in patterns. And when we align with those patterns, whether through breath, sound, or movement, we often feel calmer, clearer, and more at peace. Healing then isn't about adding more. Sometimes it's about remembering what we're already made of. Nature's design is already wise. We just have to tune in. Thank you so much for exploring this sacred spiral with me today. If today's episode sparked something in you, I invite you to take a mindful walk outside. Look for spirals, listen for rhythm, feel into the code that connects all life. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and support our podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/Green Earth Essentials. Your support helps us keep spreading this kind of earth-connected, soul-deep wisdom. Until next time, keep your breath steady, your mind open, and your heart in rhythm with nature. This is Michelle Jackson signing off.